Hey everybody, I'm Liz Licking. I am a senior at Otterbein University. I'm majored in environmental science and in women-centered sexuality studies. And I'm president of our LGBTQIA Alliance, Free Zone.
Hi, my name is Erin Grubach. I'm a sophomore at Ohio State. I'm a double major in political science and sexuality studies. I'm a member of our Queers and Allies Club, and I'm a mentor for the LGBTQ first-year cohort.
Hi, my name is Lee Julian, and I'm third year of the Ohio State University. I'm majoring in communication and minoring in fashion retail study. I'm the mentor of Queers and Allies.
Alright, my name is Ethan Axe. I'm a sophomore at Ohio State, majoring in business with a specialization in information systems. And I am a mentor for the LGBTQ first-year cohorts at Ohio State, as well as the secretary of the gender-inclusive fraternity, Pi Alpha Kappa.
Hello, my name is Gustavo Carlos. I'm a third-year psychology and sexuality studies major here at the Ohio State University. I am also a mentor for the first-year LGBTQ cohort, and I also work for the Office of Diversity and Inclusion.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Mataya. I am a senior at Denison University. I am a sociology and anthropology major, and I have a chemistry minor. And I am the vice president of Outlook, which is our LGBT GSA group campus.
Hi, my name is Ashton Colby. I'm a freshman at Columbus State, and I'm a member of the Cougar Pride LGBT group, and I'm studying business.
I am Stuart Culbertson. I'm an animation major. I don't really know what year I am because I transferred, so it's kind of always up in the air. I don't really have a title in the GSSA community, but one of the upper people, they always turn to me whenever they have like events, and I always help out. So.
I think given the size of our school, we have some good programming. I think it'd be nice if we could split out more, but for now it seems to work. So we have a lot, again, it's program specific. We have lots of professors with the Allies stickers on their doors, and specific LGBTQ role models. So the faculty advisor for Nicole on Campus Free Zone is out. She's queer and a huge advocate supporter, and a student who, if she ever gets an inkling of having some kind of a problem personally or in the classroom or anywhere else, she jumps to their aid. She might not even know that student. I know that there is queer faculty in other parts of campus that are out, and students look to them. They're not in my program, so I'm not as familiar with them. And lots of allied professors as well. Leadership positions. I would say, actually this question, is it referring for leadership positions for like clubs on campus for students, or?
Yeah, that kind of.
Okay. So leadership positions come down to a few key areas. So within the LGBTQIA Alliance Free Zone, we have 5 exec board members, and it's open to shift to more or less depending on the number of people we have consistently coming to the club. We also have what's the name? We have a board of students who are nominated by professors who just stand in to give a student perspective on LGBTQ and related diversity issues on campus when the different initiatives are being talked about. And there's professors on that board as well as students, and I'm on that board as well. So that's a leadership position. You don't necessarily have to be exec of, say, Free Zone to be in that. I was just nominated based on where I was with that. We're launching Safe Zone programming, so to an extent that's a leadership position. People are nominated as students to get, I was nominated.
I think one of the best things about Ohio State's queer community is the fact that we do have a queer club exclusively for first years. So we have a bunch of freshmen or transfer students who came into the school from all different experiences of whether they were out or not and how people received them being out. And then you can get them all together with a room of like-minded people, or not you like, but like that they come from the same place, at least somewhat. So it's just good, because for a lot of us, like in high school we were alone, or there was only a few of us. So now you have a community, and within cohort, our mentors were upperclassmen. And so, at least for me, some of my mentors last year are still some of my best friends here. And I know that they would help me if I ever needed help with anything. So there's always, no matter what level you're at in the school, there's always someone who is there to help you with just life in general and who understands where you're coming from as a queer student. As for leadership, there's so many opportunities. As we're like, there's somewhere between 10 and 15, maybe even more, queer-related organizations. So all of those have leadership positions. Specifically, Cohort and the Prison Allies Club have a group of, I don't know, 5 to 7 mentors. Other groups have like the president of the club, the vice president. And so if you're queer and you want a leadership position, or if you need a mentor, there's so many options. It's really great.
On the other hand, I think Ohio State is like a pretty cool place that you can actually set up like interesting club or organization. Like we have 15 different organizations, like include like LGBT like athletes, LGBT like fraternity, or targeted first year kind of different groups. So for the leadership positions, you can set if you have like your special like interest for groups. For maybe for LGBT community, you can set up your own groups. Like you can just go through the process of applying it. So it's pretty cool, and people will join. And I think that's how you express yourself like freely, and just set up a group.
Yeah, I think exactly like what they both said at Ohio State, that there's basically a group for whatever you are interested in that also includes LGBTQ issues. Like there's one specifically for first years, one for grad students, a group for people who are in between. There's Shades, which deals with, focuses on LGBTQ issues with people of color. And, or if you're interested in Greek life, like what Lindsay said, I mentioned earlier that as part of the Pi Alpha Kappa all-inclusive fraternity, we'd actually just started that last year. So it's not like it's always been a gay frat or anything, but it was something we had an interest in, so we sort of like made it happen. And also, like I said, working in res life, as far as role models and mentors go, I know that not only is residence life really accepting, but there are a lot of LGBTQ individuals who are like hall directors, assistant hall directors, and even like way higher up, like who run all of the residence hall things and like issues. So it's not only that like they create a nice space, but you can also see like successful LGBTQ individuals within that area. And if we use the term role models pretty liberally, I'd say you could also include like Columbus drag queens like to come down to Ohio State and do like a lot of events. I know like many of the fusions in Columbus, they like to I attend most of those, and I think one of the residence halls does a campus-wide drag show for anyone on campus to join, and a lot of the Columbus drag queens come and support that as well, which brings awareness to not only transgender individuals, but also like LGBTQ community as a whole. So there's sort of a lot of areas, a lot of role models for people who identify as anything really.
I think there definitely isn't a lack of role models or mentors here at Ohio State. However, I think anyone's major in any department can probably connect you with you could say, queer person in charge around. The MCC is definitely a great resource, one that I've recently tapped into and Yeah, I think, and I think when the Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies Department definitely has a lot of those connections, especially because it's a very interdisciplinary field. So someone in WGSS can connect you with someone maybe in engineering who's queer or who has a class on queer issues, or there are people all over campus know someone who knows someone who can connect you with a queer theme, a queer program, queer job, hopefully, and so yeah, definitely no lack of mentor experience.
Well, for role models and mentors, we have queer studies concentration on campus, which is taught entirely by faculty members from other departments. It's not a standalone department, so you have biology professors, English professors, history professors. It's run by an economics professor. So you, by taking a queer studies course, you're automatically linked into pretty much every other department on campus. Beyond faculty, we have plenty of staff members who are either gay or gay friendly and have made it apparent that they are so. They'll show up at Outlook events. As far as programming goes, despite the fact that we're a small school, we get some really great programming. LG Granderson came to us before he came to OSU. So we were his warm-up gig. And so you really do get a lot of opportunities for really great programming because the school really likes to invest in the queer studies department as well as LGBT issues on campus. As far as leadership positions, there's executive boards for Outlook, which I've served on for the past 3 years. There's Safe Zone. We also have 2 LGBT representatives that represent the community in our student government, so those are leadership positions as well. But there's also a plethora of other fields on campus that touch LGBT issues, like the Center for Women and Gender Action. And in my opinion, you can queer any position. I work in the admissions office. I'm a leader in the admissions office. And I would say I brought in a lot of LGBT awareness in that position, and that in holding any position, you can really make it LGBT friendly and LGBT inclusive by bringing in your own personal aspect to it.
Columbus State's smaller, so in our Cougar Pride group, we do have a lot of opportunity for leadership positions just because it is smaller, which is good because anyone who wants to step up, that opportunity is available for them. There's a lot of opportunity within the classroom setting to be a leader and speak out against things that are important to you. And I feel like there's a lot of teachers on campus that are very there to be supportive, not only as an ally, but I know there are LGBT staff members that are there. So overall, I feel like there's a lot of support from not only students but faculty members at Columbus State.
At CCAD, there are plenty of LGBT leadership opportunities. We have, actually at the moment, our SGA president is a gay man, our vice president is a lesbian, and then we have the Animation Student Collective. We have homosexual leadership in that at the moment. But in our actual GSSA, we have 4 different positions. We have the president and then 3 vice president positions. As for role models and mentors, quite a few of our staff are fairly either gay friendly or are of homosexual, I don't know. Sorry, brain's kind of fried. But there are plenty of people to talk to if you ever have questions or just need someone to talk to. Anyone in the GSSA is willing to step up and be there for you. So.
Okay.
So particular challenges for LGBTQ students of different racial or cultural backgrounds. We're a small enough institution that we don't have any specific targeted programming for LGBTQ students of color, LGBTQ students who are international or anything else. I'm pretty sure that OSU, for instance, is big enough to have specific targeted programming. So we have lots of umbrella programming that tries to hit all the needs and maybe fall short. Free Zone is the go-to board on campus for queer students in general, and we make it our mission that we're open to everyone. But we're not against an umbrella cis people who are supportive and understanding as well. We welcome everyone in any of our programming, coursework, anything else on campus related to the LGBTQ things. Allies are welcome to come too. It's a free zone. We have allies on exec, and we have consistently over the years. And allies come to programming and are part of programming. I think it's vital that allies speak out and support their LGBTQ friends. Because it's just important to see, I think, as a student, even if you're not part of these orgs, to know that part of being a good person is being an ally, and if you are a LGBTQ person, that there are allies out there. Opportunities for allies include leadership on campus. We have lots of allies in our new major and minor in women's and intersectionality studies. We're mostly made up of allies, and even in the queer studies concentration, I think there's lots of allies in that too. So anything that a LGBTQ person would like to do, an ally has the same ability to do so as well, and it has so far.
I would say, for first color, I would say one of the flaws of Ohio State's queer community is a lot of the more large-scale organizations do have a lack of members who are people of color, though this year is definitely more diverse than last year, so hopefully more and more diverse, that'd be great. So one of our goals, for cohort at least, is, and for Q&A as well, we try to talk, we like to talk about intersections and different identities, and just make sure that everyone feels really included no matter what their backgrounds are. And Ohio State, though, if someone does want a community specific for their different cultural identity, as Ethan mentioned, we do have Shades, which is specifically for people of color. We have a Jewish Queers and Allies group. But there is lapse in, I don't believe there is a Asian and queer group, so there's definitely, though they could be involved with Shades. But, so there's some specific groups, but maybe there could be more, or maybe the groups could work together more, so that's definitely something that we're working on. For allies, allies are always great. I think a lot of straight cis people think we don't want them, so sometimes people will ask questions, they'll be like, oh, I think this is really cool and I want to go, but I'm straight, is that okay? I'm like, yeah, it's okay. And, or when straight people do come to the group, they always feel the need to clarify that they are straight, I don't know. So I think we can work towards having these student organizations where the term ally is included enough that people don't need to automatically set up this disclaimer. Disclosing your sexuality as straight is fine, but some people will be like before they even comment on anything, they'll be like, I'm straight, but I was like, you don't need to just talk, it's okay. So that's something to work on, just more inclusion, so everyone feels welcome. And one more thing I wanted to add, since you said for classes, I think Ohio State has a lot of classes available for anyone interested in queer studies at all, really. The women's gender and sexuality studies, it's a major and a minor, and those classes will touch on a lot of intersections of sexuality, gender identity, race, religion, all kinds of things. More specifically, we have a sexuality studies major and minor, which will even touch even more on queer issues. And if you really want to get really into it like I am, the sexuality studies major actually has an LGBTQ studies focus, which is great. So Ohio State is definitely big on making sure that the voices of queer people are heard.
I think as an international student, I have worked with Asian friends as well, from Asian country. So I do notice that this year, especially for freshmen, there are a lot of queer freshmen. They all added my Facebook, which I didn't know how they found me. But yes, they did. So I added my Facebook, and they talked to me. I said, okay, I'll talk to you anyway. So yeah, they opened to me, opened everything to me. So I was like asked me the sources, like LGBT community or something. So I'm very willing to like answer every single question from them. And I found the particular challenges for international queer people actually big culture gap. It's like I told several freshmen to come to the cohort. They came the first time, might be twice, I don't know. Trying to say, oh, I didn't understand their English. I said, oh, you will get better. And I said, if you want me to help you to find like, if you need any help, like, I will tell you what kind of resources you can have. Like, come here, talk to like what people you can talk to, or you just need my help, that's fine. So, and on the other hand, they cannot find like, especially targeted, they're like around the people from the specific countries, like people from China. I mean, here as well, people from China, like for international students. So yeah, I think that's the particular challenges they face. So I'm thinking about like if we have like more resources for international queer students. Yeah, awesome. Cool. The role can analyze planning on the campus. I have a lot of female friends actually. I love them, they love me. And I still remember one female friend pretty like support like gay community. Once there's like some the things like was happening on Ovo, because like against homosexuality was Christmas thing. And my female friends yelled it out. It's like God doesn't judge. It's like that's like we all love queer people. Yay. So I think role can analyze place like actually you are able to speak out. At least you know what you're gonna like submit to. So that's what
As far as racial and cultural backgrounds go, what really interested me was when the term like umbrella organization was brought up. Because before that was even mentioned, I was sort of thinking more along the lines of we need more specific groups. But then I thought, I think maybe one of Ohio State's problems is that there are too many, or rather the groups that there are too specific. And that way, like for me personally, for somebody who like, the only aspect of me that is a minority is homosexuality. So I think for other people, if like these instead of separating it for like LGBTQ group here, and then here's a group for African American culture here, and etc., splitting them up, like people would feel less alienated if they could perhaps find a way to mix those better. So like I said, shades was brought up for a mix of LGBTQ people of color, and like you mentioned that you'd like to see a lot of Asian American or more Asian American LGBTQ groups. So I think instead of having more like specific groups, just having groups come together would make people of different like racial and cultural backgrounds feel more accommodated, so that way they don't feel like all these different parts of them are like at odds with each other. And I feel like the allies question was pretty well summed up. So I'm actually going to answer what issues do transgender students face? That's a question, and on the list thing, just come up with that. But I do think that there's an issue for transgender individuals that one of the biggest issues is that they lack visibility on our campus, and actually not just at Ohio State, but I'd say like around the country and around the world. Because since people just don't really have interactions with transgendered individuals, like it's an abstract idea to them. Like I have fellow like GLB friends who are like, oh, I just don't even understand how some people can be like feel like a woman when they're really a man. And I'm like, really? Like, I just think there's just not enough visibility. People just don't understand it really because they don't see it that much. And when we actually had an event a few weeks ago where we watched the movie Trans America, and we discussed transgender issues. And we had a trans guy there who was answering questions, and at first, like, everyone was kind of like, quiet and didn't know what to do. But then they found out, oh wait, this is just like a normal person. This is easy. They just asked questions and he answered, and they ended up being like a lot more comfortable with the whole thing in general, as like opposed to before when they hadn't really had that much, exposure. So I think just bringing transgender issues to the forefront, or at least giving them some visibility, would really, really help out individuals of different gender identity.
In my experiences as a gay Hispanic student here, I'm from El Paso, Texas, so I was very much immersed in Mexican culture growing up. So when I came here, I sort of ditched the Mexican and went full queer. So I was like, all the organizations I'm in, all the groups, all of my studies have been really queer focused, and I've recently started thinking about what does it mean to be a gay Latino. So I've sort of been getting in touch with that identity as well and sort of discussing it with myself. And also, one of the biggest issues I'm facing right now is that I actually feel uncomfortable being around other Latino students. Like, I grew up the whole time being with Latino people, and now I'm like, oh, Latinos, I think there might be some homophobia going on, and I think one of the issues I need to go through is sort of talking to people, reconnecting with my Latinos, and I think that's in my experience, that's one of my challenges. I've heard sentiments from other people. I have Black friends who mentioned that they sort of separated from the Black community because of homophobia or certain beliefs and things. So I've heard that sentiment before. As far as allies go, I think allies are really useful. It sort of brings to the fact that you don't have to be gay to be gay friendly, which is, I think, a huge misconception. I'm having that issue with my roommate right now, where I consider him a closeted ally because he has ally potential, but he just won't come out as an ally. So I have mentioned to him, he has mentioned to me like, oh, I heard this person saying something ignorant, and I sort of tell him like, well, tell them to be ignorant next time. And so that's been a little issue, and since he's an accounting major, so he's going into the business field, I think it would be really great to, I think it'd be really great to get him into some ally or diversity training, so I can tell him like, put it on your resume that you are queer friendly. But that's a discussion that I need to have, and I think it's also a discussion that we need to learn how to have with our allies. Like, just because you are queer friendly or because you have aligned yourself with the queer movement does not mean that you yourself are queer. So I think the university needs, they do have ally training, but I feel as queer people we should have that discussion amongst ourselves, like how can we invite make it open for allies to come to our events and things.
So I have lots of friends who are allies who will come out to really cool moving events and will actually come out and specifically say, I'm an ally, I really support my friends in their endeavors to do this, this, and this on campus. And we do have allies serving on our executive board, so I think that's also important to mention. As far as the racial and cultural backgrounds and the tensions that could pose, I think that the rest of the panelists done a really good job of addressing what the tensions could be. So I'm just going to address the response on Denison's campus, and that is collaborations. All of the multicultural organizations on campus meet once a month as a group. All of the executive boards meet, and we discuss events, discuss opportunities for collaboration, and then go forth and do. So this past week, Outlook's meeting was with Forza Latina, which is our Latin heritage group on campus, and we discussed coming out as a Hispanic member and what that meant, and it was a really cool meeting to see LGBT community say, this is what my coming out experience was, and then to have people talk about their family in Venezuela or their family in Puerto Rico and how they have a gay uncle who for 50 years has never been able to come out because of the racial tensions. So we have really great opportunities for things like that. We collaborate with different groups on campus, like our Career Exploration and Development Office. We just had a queer panel and talked about being gay in the workforce, and gave resources for that and kind of how to figure out whether or not a company is gay friendly. So there's a lot of collaborative efforts on Denison's campus. I know our biggest one right now is all of the multicultural organizations are coming together for this, what we call the Red Party, which is on World AIDS Day,
We have a huge party on campus and all of the multicultural organizations, and this year also Greek Life is going to be involved. So collaborations are key on
I think at Columbus State, we are a smaller school, but we do have a lot of racial diversity, we have a lot of cultural diversity, and I think that Columbus State is really good about if there is a need for something on campus, students can vocalize that, and it's, personally, the only minority that I am is transgender, but I know that our group is very inclusive to anyone of different backgrounds and different cultures, and so I think it's pretty inclusive. I know there's a lot of allies in the classroom that have been more than vocal when someone says something a little ignorant, and so I found it's pretty accepting from allies and pretty much everyone on campus.
On CCAD's campus, it's really tiny, and we all basically live on campus. A lot of us live off campus, including me, but all of the places that we live are within like 2 or 3 blocks. So, but basically, for like the different racial and cultural backgrounds, we have a multicultural office, but at the moment, because our school is so small, it consists of 1 person. But she is always willing to help with whatever. The other issue is being, for like the African American group, being Black Student Leader Association. Their meeting is at the exact same time as GSSA, so they have to choose whether they want to go to a BSA meeting or the GSSA meeting, which is kind of an issue that I've been noticing. But also the fact that it takes place in the middle of the week during classes, so it's like, oh well, I have to go there for 20 minutes, and then after that I'll have to leave and go to class. So there's a large portion of us that go for the first 2 minutes and then leave. As for allies, there is always opportunities. We're always willing and accepting to have them come and help out with whatever we're doing. We have like a bake sale going on in 2 weeks. We always invite them off to Fusion to come with us because it's always fun. We always love it. And we always like having the allies around anyway.